Hello everyone, welcome to another one of my videos here on YouTube where I have fun with my drones and play around in Iceland. We have this beautiful day in Iceland today, so I thought I should make a YouTube video today. We're gonna be comparing the quality of the Mavic 4 Pro Creator Combo versus the Inspire 3 and various other things about the drones. Yeah, let's get started before the sun sets. There are a lot of differences between these two drones, but I think the most noticeable one is the size of them. So this is the Mavic 4 Pro, which comes in a bag like this, and the Inspire 3 comes in a whole ass suitcase, which is this one right here. I can't even lift it, man, it's so heavy. Here it is. This is a whole suitcase. Now when you open it, here is the drone. This is the lens set, so here are the lenses in here. Then we have the gimbal or camera, and then the controller, which is pretty huge compared to the Mavic 4 Pro. Okay, let's test how long it takes to set up these drones. So from taking it out of the bag and opening the controller, turns on its own, which is super nice. Don't need to do anything, just put the screen up. And I take the drone, take the cover off, flip the legs up, and it turns on itself as well, which is super neat. It saves a lot of time, honestly. This is like 2 minutes, and now we just need to wait for the satellites. And there we have it, 15 satellites. Took about 4 minutes in total to get the drone out, wait for the satellites. So that's really nothing. Like it's so fast, it's so nice, it's so efficient on set. Takes really minimal time to put it up in the air. It's really nice when you need to have like a run and gun setup. This is the setup to go. Now the Inspire, on the other hand, that one's a tricky one. This one takes a whole lot of time to set up. So here we got the drone itself. Let's just go and set it up on the launch pad. We got 2 batteries. This is exactly how it would be on set. Taking it out of the suitcase, putting the batteries in. Now, once the batteries are in, we need to put the landing gear up so we can put the camera on. So we need to 5-tap on the drone. It turns on, does its thing. Okay, now that that's set up, we can put the lens on. There's a lot of covers that needs to be taken off. It's very time consuming. We need to align these, the red dots, press, turn it in. There it is, and then it should stabilize. Yes, sir. Take the lens cover off. There we have it. But we aren't done. Now we need to put the propellers on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we can turn on the controller. Here it is. Now that we have such a huge controller, we need a shoulder strap to go with it. Okay, now that's on. Now we can clip it in and 2. And then this folds out. So we have a nice resting place for the controller. So I can just pilot it like this. So as you can see, this is much bigger than the Mavic 4 Pro. That one's tiny compared to this one, and it needs so many steps to set up. You need the camera, you need to put the lens on, you need to put the propellers on. There's a lot of things, and then you need to wait for the batteries to heat. Now they're heating, so you need to wait for that as well, which can take about 5 minutes. So the total setup time is about like 10 to 15 minutes. That's a huge difference. I was gonna do the entire video out here, but it's getting cold and dark. The sun is setting right over there. Let's go home. All right, everybody, I'm back home. It was getting too dark and cold, but I managed to do every flight that I wanted to do. I got all the content that I wanted to get from this trip for the video, but I'm just gonna talk about everything now at home. So we went over the size and the setup time of the drones. Now I wanted to talk about the price. So the Mavic 4 Pro Creator Combo that I had over there costs about $4,000. Alright, hello, this is me from the future. I'm editing the video and I just realized I said the wrong price for the Mavic 4 Pro. The actual price, as you can see on the screen, is $4,999. So it's $1 under $5,000. Let's get back to the video. And that's what you need to pay for the best drone that is not the Inspire 3. Now the Inspire 3, which is the bigger drone, is priced at $16,500, which comes in a suitcase and has 6 batteries, so you get 3 flights out of 6 batteries, and 1 terabyte SSD disk, and there's some other small accessories, obviously a controller, but there's no lens. You can fly it, but you cannot record anything because there's no lens on it. So if you wanna do something with it, like record videos, you need to buy a lens. The cheapest lens that you can buy is $1,300. So already you have to add quite a lot of money, especially if you want to have more than one lens. There are 5 lenses from DJI that they are selling for the Inspire 3. If you want to buy them all, you need to spend at least 6-7 grand on it. So it gets insanely expensive so fast. One battery costs $530 and you need 2 for one flight. So you need to buy 2, which is another $1,000 for one more flight. And you get about like 20 to 25 minutes. It's ready for 27, but realistically I only get like 20 to 25. So yeah, if you want to have more flights and more juice, you need to spend a lot of money as well. And with the SSD disk that comes with the drone, which is 1 terabyte, you only get about like 30 minutes in 8K 25 FPS. And then if you go 8K 75 FPS in ProRes RAW, you only get 20 minutes with 1 terabyte. Then you have to buy another SSD disk, only sold by DJI and cost $800, which is crazy for 1 terabyte SSD. I have a Lexar, which is 4 terabytes and has basically the same speeds as the SSD from DJI, and that was about $500 for 4 terabytes. And they're selling one SSD for 1 terabyte at $800, which is just crazy. But I mean, they can do it because nobody else is gonna manufacture SSDs for this drone. They have like a special form factor of SSD, which no one is manufacturing, so yeah. And then another accessory which is insanely overpriced are the prop guards for the drone. So I don't know anybody in Iceland that owns them. I asked the DJI store here in Iceland if anybody had bought them once the drone was out, and they said nope, nobody bought them. They're just collecting dust on the shelf. And these prop guards are $300 and $500 for a piece of plastic. Basically, it's just plastic that goes around your propellers to protect it from hurting any people if you're flying, for example, indoors or in a crowd or over people or anything like that. And you can literally 3D print these prop guards. If you measure everything right, you can 3D print the prop guards for this drone. I did it for an FPV drone and it worked perfectly, so I don't know why you couldn't do it with this one. I think you can. So the Inspire 3 has a dual operation, which basically means one pilot is piloting the actual drone, just making sure it doesn't crash into anything, and the other pilot is piloting the gimbal or the camera of the drone. So he can be looking backwards while the drone operator is flying forward and doesn't need to think about anything else than piloting the camera, which is so nice. But for that, you need another controller, which is $1,600. So yeah, if you're gonna buy an Inspire 3, it's gonna get insanely expensive so fast, and you need to drop at least like 20 to 25K on it if you wanna have the full set. But one good thing is that Viltrox actually released a 90mm lens, because that one is only priced at $500 instead of $1,300. And it's very sharp, it's very good, it has autofocus. Right, now that we've gone over the price of the drones, let's see the specs. So the Inspire 3 has an 0.3 transmission system, which gets you about 15 kilometers in FCC mode, which is the mode that is allowed in the US, and in Europe it's CE mode, which you get about like half the range. Now the Mavic 4 Pro, however, which is the cheaper drone, has an 0.4 plus transmission system, which gets you about 30 kilometers in FCC mode, which is crazy, but realistically you're never gonna get 30-kilometer range because you're always gonna have to go back before the battery dies. But I guess it's cool on paper, so yeah, that is a lot better than the Inspire 3. And I've realized a lot of times when I'm flying the Inspire 3, the same distances that I'm flying the Mavic 4 Pro, it just does worse and it's more laggy and the connection is just not as good as on the Mavic 4 Pro, which is a shame because the Inspire 3 is much more expensive than the Mavic 4 Pro. But when the Inspire 3 released, they hadn't developed the 0.4 plus transmission system technology, so they just had to put an 0.3. Yeah, the Mavic 4 Pro wins on that at least. Now let's compare the flight times of both drones. The Mavic 4 Pro is rated for 51 minutes of flight time, which is crazy. That's such a long time. When I'm flying it, I never really get 51 minutes. That's maybe because I'm in Iceland and it's always windy and the weather is very harsh, it's cold, so. But I think realistically about like 40 to 45 minutes. 51 minutes is just perfect conditions and hovering, but 40 to 45, that's definitely very doable. And on the Inspire 3, it's only 27 minutes, but I only get about like 20 to 25 minutes. It's just such a huge drone and it goes so fast, it has so much power, so that's very understandable. It's almost half the time that the Mavic 4 can be in the air, so you really notice it, but that's just how it is. Now the speed of the both drones is actually crazy how fast they can go. So the Mavic 4 Pro can do 90 kilometers in sport mode, but you can actually turn this setting up in sport mode and turn like the max tilt of the drone, and you can get up to 97 kilometers an hour. That is so fast. Like the speed limit in Iceland is 90 kilometers an hour, so I can go faster than any car basically if they go the speed limit. Yeah, there's no like highways or anything, it's just 90 kilometers is the max and it's just one lane highway basically. And the Inspire 3 is rated for 94 kilometers an hour max speed. So they're very close there, but I got more speed with the Mavic 4 Pro, but that is totally fast enough. I'm not gonna go faster than 94 with such a big drone. So the Mavic 4 has a lot more features that you can use, like master shots and stuff like that the Inspire 3 does not have. But the Inspire 3 is just for people that are going to use it professionally, most likely, and they're not going to use master shots or like the boomerang or something like that. So with the Mavic 4 Pro, there is definitely a bigger market for people that want to use master shots and the boomerang and other stuff like that to play around with. So the obstacle avoidance on both drones is actually not the same. The Mavic 4 Pro has more sensors and also has low light sensors and front-facing LiDAR sensors, which is great. It's definitely better on the Mavic 4 Pro, but it's enough on the Inspire 3 to keep you safe. If you don't have it in sport mode, you're most likely not gonna crash. So it's good enough, but it's better on the Mavic 4 Pro. Alright, now let's talk about the most important thing about these two drones, the camera. So the main Hasselblad camera in the Mavic 4 Pro is a 4/3 CMOS sensor, which does 6K and 60 FPS in the max quality. And this drone actually has 3 cameras in total. The other 2 are telephoto lenses. One is about 60mm and the other one is about 160mm. And those 2 have a smaller sensor, and the best quality they can record in is 4K 120 FPS. All 3 cameras can actually shoot in D-Log 10-bit, so you can copy paste the grade that you have on the main camera to all 3 cameras, which saves you a lot of time and is super nice. Now 10-bit is quite little to today's standards, to be honest. It's been quite often that I go on a shoot and they need the 12-bit camera, so sometimes it's a problem, but most of the time it's fine. And the next step up from that is just the Inspire 3. So the Inspire 3 has an insane camera. It has a full frame sensor which does 8K 75 FPS in its max quality and records in the ProRes RAW codec, which is just insane for a camera up in the air. And that 1TB SSD, which costs about $800, gets you about 20 minutes of footage if you're recording in the max settings. And if you want the highest bitrate in the drone, you can record in Cinema DNG, which gives you 16-bit color depth, which is just insane. That's like a cinema camera. That's probably why the Inspire is Netflix approved and is used in a lot of TV shows and films and commercials, because it's just that good. Here you can see a camera chart of all the different settings that you can choose for the Inspire 3. Another thing that I found really important is the lens flares. The lens flares in the Mavic 4 Pro are not that good because of how small the sensor is and how the optics are just small and the glass is very thin and everything is just smaller. There's no physical lens on there basically. The lens flares, they're not the best. They're pretty ugly, to be honest, and they don't have a lot of character or personality in them. And the quality is just not the same as in the Inspire. As you can see, in the Inspire is a whole nother thing. With a full frame sensor and an actual physical lens on the drone, the lens flares are just amazing. I really love them, especially on the 35mm and the 90mm. They're very sick as well. But I've heard on the 24mm, the lens flares are not the best. That lens is the oldest and has like the cheapest glass in it, I think. That's a shame, but on every other lens, it looks very good. And the gimbal tilt on the Mavic 4 Pro is quite nice. It can do -90 degrees, so just like a straight top-down view. Then it can go to positively 70 degrees, so you can get a shot looking up in the sky and then reveal something on the ground or something like that. That definitely unlocks a new perspective and some cool angles that you can play around with. And on the Inspire, when the landing gear is raised, you can tilt all the way down to 148 degrees, so you're basically looking backwards, upside down, which is pretty interesting. You can use that somehow. I don't know how, but it definitely can unlock some cool perspectives and potential and angles and stuff. And then the max that it can tilt up is 90 degrees, 20-degree difference from the Mavic 4 Pro, so you can tilt even more up in the sky and then reveal something on the ground. So yeah, in the end, the Inspire 3 definitely wins this. You're paying $15,000 more basically for an Inspire 3 that has a good kit with a couple of lenses and a couple of extra batteries. So yeah, in the end, I think the Inspire definitely wins. The camera specs are just don't have a chance compared to the Mavic 4 Pro. But then again, you're paying $15,000 more for an Inspire 3 with a couple of lenses and extra batteries, when the Mavic 4 Pro is only about $4,000. And you can definitely see on the telelenses, when I use them compared to the 90mm lens on the Inspire 3, the quality is so insane, it's so sharp. On the telelenses on the Mavic 4 Pro, you can see it's not the sharpest and it's not the best, but it is definitely usable. Now for who are these drones? Well, the Inspire 3 is definitely mostly for professionals. I mean, I don't see anyone that just wants to buy a drone to play around, buy an Inspire 3. You know, it doesn't have the same features as all of the other drones. It is the most inconvenient to set up and to fly, and it's huge, so definitely just for professionals that are gonna make a living from it or some sort of income from it. And the Mavic 4 is just for everyone else basically. I mean, it's the best drone compared to the Inspire 3, and there's no in between. So yeah, overall, the Mavic 4 Pro is very nice. It is so fast to set up, it is so nice to fly, it's very small, it handles a lot of wind, and it just gets the job done if the Inspire 3 is not possible to fly, or there's not budget for it, or something like that. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'm working on some other videos, so stay tuned for that. See ya, bye bye!